value of self-worth is extremely important, especially living in this dimension. Self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, very important. And there's so many different levels to it. Like for me in this example, I've reached some of the greatest heights that you could possibly feel within yourself, within your own being. And it was so overwhelming and so beautiful that I just wanted to just give it. I exuded it constantly. And 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 then mixing that with some of the things that I had to experience during my conquest and wanted to empower and uplift others because I didn't want them to experience the things that I had to. And me doing that in more than one sense kind of directed my self value, and it almost like depleted the purpose of the self value because I was trying to save everyone else because I felt like I saved myself. But I was doing it to those who wasn't one worth saving and didn't even need saving. Like they were already comfortable settling and being stuck and confined and conforming and being contained and being in those positions and sustaining that and maintaining that and loving that aspect of their life that was worthless and meant nothing. And I was trying to come and pull things and trying to disturb things and activate things and trigger things just to allow some type of fire, to allow some type of passion to erupt out of them so then they could save themselves and so forth and so forth. It's just, that beautiful cliche of just trying to save the world. And then I went from trying to save the world to trying to make the world a better place. But I realized the world has always been a greater place. So what I was doing was actually insulting those that I felt like needed saving because they were already happy with not ever being happy. They were already happy with insecurity. They were happy with unhappiness. They was already happy with doubt. They was already happy with their fears. So me pulling them out of that and telling them they're worth more than that and trying to show them a different perspective of themselves, I'm basically insulting their comfort zone of worthlessness. And I kept trying and trying and then I would take it so deep and so just tragic like how could you settle? Because I would feed them, I would tell them things, and then I would be ignored, like in my face. And in different ways, I would be ignored. And then they will only listen to those that were pulling them down, bringing them down, wasn't even good for them in no type of way. They would listen to them. They would pick up their calls. They would respond to them. They would be attentive to them. They would adhere to those things that they had to tell them when those individuals was destroying them. And I would take that so deeply and be so just charismatic about it and feel like how could you choose this over what I'm giving you? What I'm giving you is so great and it's so beautiful and it's so pure. And yes, it was all these things, but then at the same time, they wasn't even worth it. They wasn't worth even saving. I was trying to save those that didn't even want it and need it. And I kept taking that in, and basing my self value on how many listened to me. I was redirecting my self value, but it was beauty in that. It had to evolve, and I kept evolving it. And then the beauty of evolving it was learning that It's okay for certain things to remain as they are and for certain things to evolve. My devotion and my natural organic self value didn't need to change. It was always the change, it was always the growth. I didn't need to try to expand it onto someone else, project it onto someone else, or anything like that. It was good as is, great as is. Matter of fact, it was too good to be true, and that made it great enough. That made it more than good enough. But I wanted to tweak it. I wanted to I wanted to keep going deep inside. I wanted to keep trying to pull someone out of that deep ocean they was in. I wanted to stick my hand down there and pull them to the surface. But as I'm pulling them to the surface, they're grabbing the other arm and taking me down. And I was okay because I've been to the depths that even lower than theirs. And it just puzzled me. That how could I be pouring so much beauty, so much heart, so much spectacle, so much just artistic and poetic value, priceless words, priceless emotion, priceless expressions into everything I've ever connected with and stood for. And yet, I'm the one that they don't even truly care about. But they cared about the ones that just made broken promises and said things that sounded good but never was good. They adhered to those things, or they find comfort and find peace and make amends with those that abused them and broke them down and molested them and raped them in emotional ways and broke their psychology apart and broke the way they think apart and broke the way they see the world apart. In fact, they made them hate themselves and hate everything else that even represents something of themselves. Those would be the ones that they would say they found forgiveness. But when it came to me, when it came to me trying to grab them and pull them out of the depths that they were in, I was always annoying. I was always toxic. I was always negative. I was always the one that they couldn't stand. I was always the one they needed space from. I was always the one that it was so hard for them to give. I was always the one they wanted to block out. I was the one that they blocked out. I was the one that they wanted to disconnect from. I was the one that they did disconnect from. I was the one that was unhealthy. I was the one that they couldn't see the bigger picture. But yet, they're abusers. The ones that destroyed them, the ones that cheated on them, the ones that lied to them, the ones that manipulated, tricked them, and suffocated them with anxiety and depression and paranoia and insecurity. They found love with those individuals. They found some type of relation with those individuals. They tried to make it work. They stayed there to make it work. And I took it so deeply. I took it so deeply it penetrated me because I was putting value on things that had none. And I knew that it didn't have any. But my guilt was driving my rescue. See, my guilt was to not ever let anyone experience what I experienced. So it was driving my rescue to save them. So it wasn't even more so like I was truly doing it all for them. Somewhere inside that, I was saving me that was in them. And I would look at the me that's in them and I would question and say, I thought you wanted to be saved. I thought you wanted me to be there for you. And I would get a response back like, Leave me alone. I don't like you. But yet, they're able to get along with those that meant them harm, those that neglected them, those that abandoned them, those that betrayed them, those that looked them in their eyes and lied and took their trust and stepped on it. They okay with those individuals. They was okay with those types. They okay with those kinds. So going through all that, something funny happened. I realized that, I was trying to make everyone into this great thing because I didn't see myself as personal, right? I see myself as something general, something that could be obtainable for all, not knowing I was super, super, super personal, super special. And something funny happened. So I've been trying to make them into me. I've been trying to make them this general thing that I feel like they can obtain. And the funny thing about that is that there isn't another me. There isn't another one. So this thing that I have, this ability that I have to grab someone out the depths is only my ability. So I can't make another me because there is none. There is no one, especially I'm earned. Everything about me is earned, from my cockiness to my persuasive, beautiful arrogance to my ignorance to my blissful emotional sophistication. Everything about me is earned. I earned this. I earned me. I earned the way I look. I earned the way I talk. I earned the way I express. I earned my artistic abilities. I earned my pain. I earned my hurt. I earned every single thing I had to go through. I earned taking the hard road when everyone took the easy way out. I earned choosing to make things work instead of walk away. I earned to engage in things instead of shut down. I earned to feel things that was overwhelming instead of ignore them. I earned to stay there and try to create structure and try to build family instead of just abandon and neglected it and run away and run off to something else and someone else. I stayed there when the grass was dying and watered it and flowered it and cultivated it instead of trying to go on to the other side and seeing how green that grass was. I stayed there. I earned this. So the funny thing is, it's only one of me. And it's none of you. It's only one of me. And none of you. Nothing else. So that funny joke that I had to really look at, that punchline that I was always personal, that I was always super special, and that me trying to share with anyone else couldn't work because there's no one else like me. And knowing that, when I checked my emotional treasury, the account inside me and on the outside of me, I see deposits of unlimited amounts, of unlimited treasure and prosperity going into my account, going into my emotions. My emotion grew. My self value went up once I realized that this whole thing always was about me. It was always about me. This journey was about showing me how special I am by allowing others to show me how special they weren't. So you have to learn how to let go of holding on. And then you also hold on to letting go and knowing when to do either or. And in the middle of that, That's how you truly find yourself. That's when you, that's when I learned I was the one. Truly amazing. Before I end this video, I want to also um, share this new product I made. This is a beautiful product. It smells amazing. It's a bath and a foot soak. So you could pour it into your bath. You could use it to soak your feet in, and it's made with Epsom salt, lavender, and then Shanti oils. Very beautiful product. Of course, I'm gonna put the link to my site. Make sure you purchase this and try it and give me your feedback because I really enjoyed this product. Everything I make is amazingly beautiful. So I appreciate this product and I appreciate you. Thank you.